at UNDP's Crisis Bureau in New York. He has also served as UNDP Country Director in Syria. He has also managed the sub-regional response facility in Oman and held advisory positions in Sudan, Yemen, and at UNDP headquarters. He holds a PhD in conflict analysis and resolution from George Mason University. Sir, can I please welcome you on stage to offer your keynote remarks? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan, Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, esteemed Federal Secretary, Minister of Human Rights, Mr. Abdul Sheikh, members of the Commission, Excellencies, Ambassadors, Deputy Head of the Mission, Delegation of the EU to Pakistan, Philip Oliver Gross, esteemed parliamentarians, representatives of government, international partners, civil society, advocates, defenders of human rights, and finally, of course, Chairperson, National Commission for Human Rights, Madam Rabiya Javeri. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. So walking through the NCHR exhibition just now, one thing is absolutely clear. Tonight is not about closing a chapter, it is about celebrating a transformation. 4 years ago, the NCHR moved from the back burner of the stove to the front flame with a renewed mandate. I am aware I'm using a pun from the kitchen, but it literally is that, given the kinds of hot or burning topics that are being discussed today, often on human rights. Today, NCHR stands as one of Pakistan's most credible voices for human rights and a globally respected institution. This is a remarkable evolution, and it is an honor to celebrate it with everyone tonight. Under the exceptional leadership of the chairperson and the commissioners, the NCHR has shown what a national human rights institution can be when given a space and when operating at its best. Under the exceptional leadership, Rabiya, your leadership, steady, principled and deeply humane, has guided the Commission through uncertain times with clarity and courage. NCHR has reminded us that human rights work is not just a job or an office, it is actually a conscientious commitment to everyday concerns. And some of these results are the ones that you see outside and are reflected in the ethos of the Commission. We have the first nationwide marriage helpline, Phil mentioned that. We have the ban on discriminatory advertisements targeting religious minorities. We have rights-based legislative reviews, from anti-torture to the Baluchistan Child Marriage Restraint Act. And most of all, we have the quiet diplomacy that gives voice to those without a voice that Rabiya often excels in as well. This is human rights in action in prisons and courtrooms, in communities and policy spaces, always bringing the focus back to fairness, to dignity, and to protection. It is actually impact through courage. And then there's, of course, the most extraordinary milestone of the last 4 years, also mentioned. This is the Commission's A status accreditation by the Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions. This is a distinction that only a few young NHRIs in the world achieve. And this recognition confirms not just compliance with Paris principles, but credibility, independence, and trust. It tells the world that Pakistan has an institution that both guides the state and holds it accountable. This achievement, though, belongs to everyone who helped build this institution, commissioners, secretaries, and we stole one of them to work with UNDP, Kamran, who's not here, coordinators, complaints officers, communicators, UNVs, and all those who believe the NCHR should not just function but excel. UNDP is proud to have walked this journey with you, and our partnership has been grounded not only in technical support but in shared values. This is the belief that strong, independent institutions are the backbone of a just society. So I take this opportunity to express my appreciation and that of the UNDP team, to the EU for its unwavering commitment to governance, human rights, and the rule of law in Pakistan. Very grateful to the Ministry of Human Rights for championing the independence of the NCHR and aligning Pakistan with global human rights commitments. And I want to close by highlighting that as we celebrate this term, we must also look ahead. The legacy we honor tonight is not ending, it is setting the stage for what must come next. So, the selection of the next chairperson, members, is a pivotal moment. Continuity matters, institutional memory matters, the integrity of the Commission matters. Strong human rights institutions do not just respond to violations, but they shape the confidence and character of a nation. I think, as Philip also mentioned, getting to the top is difficult. Staying at the top and staying at this level of work is also just as difficult. So my heartfelt congratulations also on behalf of the UNDP team, many of whom are here, to the Commission, to its team and leadership, to everyone who has contributed to this extraordinary journey. UNDP looks forward to the next chapter. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Riz. Next, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce our speaker, Ms. Rabiya Javeri Aga, the chairperson of NCHR. Ms. Aga is a graduate of Mount Holyoke College and the Blavatnik School of Government at Oxford. She received an honorary doctorate in law from her alma mater, Mount Holyoke, for her work on women and vulnerable communities. She has served as the first female president of the Pakistan Administrative Service Association, and under her leadership, NCHR has achieved new heights. A status accreditation, earning Ms. Aga seats as member of the Gandhi Bureau and the ADF Advisory Council. Thank you, Ms. Aga, for joining us.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Honorable Speaker, Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, Honorable Minister of State, Barrister Keel, Mr. Sam Risk, Mr. Philip Oliver, Sabah Sadiq, Madam, all these amazing parliamentarians standing strong in sisterhood, and Mr. Sadiq Sahaba, Manazat Baraziz, Secretary, Ministry of Human Rights, ambassadors, activists, thank you so much for being here. I'm really honored and humbled to welcome you here. These 4 years mark the end of a long journey. It's been a journey of progress, of achievement, and of courage. When we began, we really had nothing. We were a threadbare commission. We had no resources, we had no systems, and we had zero credibility. In fact, my posting here was dismissed as bureaucratic capture. But one thing that we had in common was we all desired change. We wanted to make a difference. And it is this change that is manifest today. Today is not just a presentation, it is a celebration of that change. So what is the National Commission for Human Rights? We have so many commissions in Pakistan. We have 27 in the federal government. What are we? We are an independent body. We are set up under UN principles called the Paris Principles, which Philip had talked about. We're supposed to promote and protect human rights. We are supposed to be independent, legally independent, operationally independent. And I have to pause here and acknowledge the Ministry of Human Rights, Minister Azam Tarak, Barrister Keel, Sabah Sadiq, our Secretary, because nothing, no tree can grow without space, without air. And we were that tree that was given the space and the air to blossom, to bloom. We could not have done it if the government had followed us or harassed us or in any way constrained our movement. And for that, thank you very much. I'd like to acknowledge the role that the ministry has played. Now, the Commission the mandate of the Commission is very broad. So we have our judicial powers, we have the powers of court, we can take complaints, we have received 6,700 complaints, legal monitoring, we tell the government what laws are needed, what laws are bad, what laws need to be amended. We advise the government on policy. We create knowledge, and through our knowledge, we tell the story of how to improve systems and make them better. And of course, human rights is so much about awareness. What are my rights? What are your rights? Where do I stand? How, what is my space to grow as a citizen? And that's spreading awareness, and we've been able to do that. Now, everyone is talking about an A status. What is an A status? An A status is not a walk in the park. It is a huge, long, complicated documentation that we submit to the Global Alliance, which is got an umbrella of the Human Rights Council, UN. UN bureaucracy is unbelievable. We have a 100-page document in which we have to prove to the international partners that A, we're independent, B, we speak our mind, B, we touch things and talk about things that possibly people don't want to talk about. And we also have a third-party audit, so other people can talk about us confidentially to the UN and say, well, this commission is not doing its job, or it's doing its job. And we have a long and complicated interview process where about 50 odd commissions, members from the UN, interview us and cross-examine us on our performance. The next video is a video of the UN rapporteur, the chief rapporteur, who was talking to the state party, Pakistan, and his views on us.
A report from the NCHR informing that as earlier this year, we accredited with an A status by the gallery. I wish to congratulate the Commission for this success, and more importantly, for the admirable work that appears to have been done, as shown in its informative report. At pages 11 to 15 of its report, the NCHR mentions a list of 9 actions it has been undertaking under its subtitles A to I. Now, the efficacy of the action undertaken by the NCHR under subtitle H must be commended.
So if you look at our timeline, the law was passed in 2012. In 2015 was the first commission. It lasted till 2018, and then we had this huge gap of 2 years, 2.5 years, in which a lot of work had been done was lost. But when we inherited, there was no governance structure. We had no permanent staff, we had no money, we had no financial autonomy. Our budget used to go through the Ministry of Finance. We had no rules, and we had no credibility. Nobody thought anything of this commission. We were able to put in the government. It helps to be part of the bureaucracy because we kind of can figure out how this old colonial law works, and we were able to navigate to get direct line with finance, to be able to get our positions, to be able to get our money, and we kind of evolved from 0 to 100. And recently, the APF has titled us as one of the fastest moving commissions in Asia Pacific. So our judicial mandate is the work that we do as a court. Hear cases, people approach us in any and every manner. They come to us, they phone us, they email us. And as an overview at the macro level, we resolved 6,740 complaints. We do have sumo moto powers, so we can intervene in a case also directly. 800 plus cases. We visited jail about 200 times. I was told today that this figure was wrong, it's 209. We've met hundreds and thousands of inmates. We've done 25 investigative reports, 60 plus reports that you've seen outside. Our marriage helpline has 1,800 people involved. We've recovered 8 girls from forced conversion, 9 girls from rehab centers, and helped in the registration of 29 FIRs. We're all over Pakistan, and that's one of the things that you have to be to an NHRI, is that you have to have a mandate all over Pakistan and to be able to address every single case of human rights, not specifically any one subject. When we worked with the commission, the interesting thing was that sometimes we would get an individual complaint, and then that complaint, when we resolved that complaint, it sparked the need for bigger reforms. So there was a particular case, when we looked at it and delved deeper, We found huge cracks in the system or in the laws or in the policies, and we found attitudes. And when we started resolving these cases, we found that we really had to look at bigger things. So the issue of forced conversion, we had a girl who came to us for forced conversion. We started understanding what is the concept, what happens in forced conversion. We recovered the victim, we did FIRs. But we also then published a report on the drivers of forced conversion with the Legal Aid Society. A lot of the partners help us in what we do. When we discovered the drivers, we also found out one of the issues is that the nikah is a big problem. Because while the government, the state, gives you certain powers, 90% of nikah in Pakistan, the nikah randomly will cancel your right to divorce, your right to maintenance, and your age. So then we dive into that and thought, oh my God, this is another issue we've come across. And then we started to train nikah, started to talk about what are your rights in your nikah. And then we set up the helpline with support from organizations to Misabi. So one thing kind of leads to another, which leads to another. This is a girl who was forcibly converted. She's 13 years old. It was her father's friend who came to stay in their house, ran off with her.
इमरान और अदीपा ने मुझे अगवा किया था और जिस तरह मुझे लेके गए थे सारी चीज़ें मैं बताना चाहूँगी और मेरे भाई बहन हुए थे दोनों एक जगह जॉब करते थे और वो हमारे घर में रहने के लिए आ गए थे और उसके बाद
So this is our report, the drivers of forced conversion, then our diagnostic study of the nikah, and this was a poster that we used to encourage women to come to our helpline. The second thing that happened was really sad. It was that a man had died in the sewers, going to clean the sewers. And we intervened, and when we intervened again, as I tell you the new story, new problems occur. We found out that 80% of sanitation workers are non-Muslim. And why are they non-Muslims? Because the advertisement that comes that says hiring of sanitation workers says non-Muslim. So we approached the government, and I must acknowledge the government reacted pretty fast. They banned discriminatory hiring. It started with the federal government and the Punjab, the KP, and now there is a national ban. No longer can an advertisement ever come out that stipulates religion on it. And then we also found out that our minority quotas being upheld, are they not? And then I must acknowledge our member minorities who went to 30 constitutions to ensure that that minority quota has been honored. The next video is a video of the wife of Nadeem Masih who died in the gutter in Faisalabad. She has been compensated now. Her son has been hired. She has been hired in the municipality.
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਦੁਆਰ ਦੀ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਸੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਫੋਨ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੁਕਾਨ ਤੇ ਬੁਲਾਇਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਬੇਫਿਕਰ ਹੋ ਕੇ ਸੁੱਤੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਕੰਮ ਤੇ ਗਿਆ ਆ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਰਾਤੀ 12:30 ਵਜੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਫੋਨ ਆਇਆ ਕਿ ਉਹਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਗੈਸ ਪੈ ਗਈ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਣੋ ਪੈਦਲ ਵੀ ਸ਼ੋਰ ਸ਼ਰਾਬਾ ਪਾਇਆ 4 ਵਜੇ ਸਵੇਰ ਲਾਸ਼ਾਂ ਕੱਢੀਆਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਕੋਈ ਤਾਂ ਸੁਣਦਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਬਸ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਜ਼ਦੂਰੀ ਭਾਈ ਕਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਬੰਦੇ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਮਾ ਕੇ ਤੇ ਖਵਾਉਣਾ ਹੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਫਿਰ ਧਮਕੀਆਂ ਲਾ ਕੇ ਬੁਲਾ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਤੋਂ ਗਾਲੀ ਗਲੋਚ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ
This was our report, and then this was the ban by the government. Now it no longer exists, thank God. This was a letter from the House of Lords acknowledging this work that we did and acknowledging the ban that the government of Pakistan took out. We have now also approached the Federal Constitutional Court to actually ban this. In other countries in the world, they have manual declogging, they have mechanical declogging, and there's no reason why Pakistan should not follow. This case is now, we went for the first hearing in court. The other thing that happened was, again, a sumo motu case. There was a tussle between PMDC, Pakistan Medical and Dental College, and the PMC. And when the new organization took over, they decided that children who had already been studying at medical schools were no longer going to be, their old education would not be counted. They had to re-enter the university. So a lot of children ended up losing the work they had the 2 years or 3 years they had studied in the medical school. So I must acknowledge our member, Balochistan, who really went forward. We wrote to the government and we got this reversed. This is the children talking, one of the students.
हमारा रजिस्ट्रेशन का मसला था जो पीएमसी में रजिस्ट्रेशन नहीं दी थी, उसके लिए हमने तकरीबन 100 दिन हमने एहतजाज किया, क्वार्टर प्रेस सड़क के सामने हमने एहतजाज किया था। तो उस दौरान हमें तकरीबन हमने रिकॉर्ड हुए, एहतजाज भी रिकॉर्ड किया, हमने रैलियाँ भी निकाली, हमें बुक करता भी बैठे। तो उसमें सबसे पहले जो मैं शुक्रिया अदा करूँगा जो नेशनल कमीशन जो ह्यूमन राइट का है,
के बारे में बयान किया है कि हमारा जो मसला है वो काफ़ी तगड़े से पेश चला, हमने काफ़ी सख्तियाँ देखी हैं। उसके साथ साथ जो नेशनल कमीशन ऑफ ह्यूमन राइट पाकिस्तान है उन्होंने बिल्कुल हमारे साथ नहीं छोड़ा, हमें कराने जो हमारे साथ चले, कि हम लोग बहुत ज़्यादा मशहूर और शुक्रिया अदा करते हैं। शुक्रिया।
This is our member at the protest camps. Then visits of jails. So we have visited every jail in Pakistan, probably 200 plus visits all over, from central jails to district jails to sub jails. We've met thousands of prisoners and identified numerous issues. These are the jails, district sub. These are just pictures of Peshawar jail, Haripur jail, Rabiya jail, sub-tank. We also did a small project on telling stories to the children who were incarcerated with the mothers, Quetta jail, Malir jail, and the jail with the Afanis, where we had repatriated the Afghan women. One of our issues, and this was tasked to us by the Islamabad High Court, was a case with Ayaz Bibi regarding torture of a son. And we visited the jail, we met the inmates, and we identified multiple instances of torture. We presented our report to the Chief Justice, and it was eventually placed in the federal and provincial cabinets. The cabinet responded fast. There was strong disciplinary action, dismissal from service. An implementation committee on jail reform was set up, and 2 roti machines were also purchased. And this is just a picture of which we put in our report of the torture that they had gone through. These were our reports. Torture at Rabiya jail, how do you investigate torture, and then a gap analysis. And in those days, Pakistan didn't have a Torture and Custodial Death Act, and now, mashallah, I'm happy to say we do have that law in place. Juvenile justice. Juvenile justice, Pakistan is one of the very progressive laws, 2018 Juvenile Justice Law, which says that children under the age of 18 should not be housed in jail, and they should be done what's known as diversion. You send the children not in jail, but you divert them to social, welfare or some community project. Pakistan, unfortunately, despite having this law, has not implemented it to its full, and we do not have any case of diversion. So when we go to jail, we find little kids who've done nothing really. There was recently a case of a child who had stolen a tota, a parrot, and he was stuck in jail with hardened criminals. And so this is something that needs further intervention. We need to set diversion through pro bono support, and I really must acknowledge the juvenile justice magistrates who actually opened the courts on Saturday and Sunday. We were able to release 300 children. Now, we released them. We couldn't put them on bail because nobody wants to keep a child on bail. None of the protection centers keep children who have had problems with the law. So this is some work. We're trying to get more awareness on juvenile justice, especially among the judges of the lower courts. Do not send these children to jail. These are just pictures of the children. Legal monitoring. What do we do with regard to, with all these great parliamentarians, what do we do with regard to helping the government in either understanding laws, developing new laws, advocating or lobbying for new laws? We've had good success. Torture custodial has passed, the age of ICT child, the age of marriage has passed, Balochistan has passed. We're advocating strongly that all the country has a domestic violence law except ICT. And that's something that needs to be looked at, and we hope it will happen soon. Some of the laws are under review. One of the things that happened to us, and again I keep telling you cases because although you don't have to believe me, was that we found a young girl. She's a Supreme Court lawyer. Her father is a very senior official in the Navy. He had died. The brothers wanted the property. They declared her mad. They put her in a rehab home, and she was locked away, and we found through connections that she was there. We rescued. And we found in our first report, and I think Khushbakt is here, she's the author of this report. The first report was There's no regulation for people who say they're life counselors. There's regulation for psychiatrists, little regulation for psychologists. Because if I got up and say, I'm a counselor, nobody regulates me. So one of the cases that Pushpak did was the man advertised as a psychiatrist. When you went to his clinic, outside was a psychologist. And when you investigated, he was a palmist. So this is the lack of regulation for people who say that we're life counselors or healers or whatever. So that's something we really need to look at. And I know Shasta Pervez is working on a mental health law, and I do think we need to, I hope to see something coming out of this, Shasta, inshallah. This is the story of this woman, this actual woman who was in prison. She's completely sane, she's a lawyer. And this is her story.
मुझे वहाँ पे दोनों बाजुओं में टीके लगाए हैं और वहीं पे सैंपल भी मेरा ब्लड का लिया है। मैंने कहा कि आपकी गाड़ी को आप कौन, तो कहते हैं हम बताते हैं, आपको आप बताते हैं, और वो अपनी गाड़ी में डाल के मुझे ज़बरदस्ती यहाँ पे ले आए। ये मेरा भाई जो है, ये दोनों इन्होंने केस भी किया था मेरे ऊपर पार्टीशन का, जो कि अब वापस हो चुका है। और मैं ह्यूमन राइट्स कमीशन की शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि उन्होंने मेरी बाजियाबी कराई और अपने फ्रेंड्स की भी जिन्होंने ये ईमेल भेजी।
So this is a scam, happening in Pakistan. We're working with the Ministry of Health, we're working with the Islamabad Health Regulatory Authority, that you have to be stricter. Also this concept that if a woman is not married, the brother will throw her in, So how do we kind of fix this system? This was a report called for regulation to pushbacks, and Iman did the caged in care, and the other one was a call to action. We actually put this in the press and asked people if they had ever had this experience. Policy, you're constantly advising the government on policies. We had a policy of foreign prisoners. We've been working with foreign prisoners, mental health, juvenile justice, and so on and so forth. I'd like to here acknowledge Haya Zahid from the Legal Aid Society, who's really been a champion with us. Sarah Bilal of the Justice Project in our work on prison reform. The next video I'm going to tell you is of the Indian fishermen. So hundreds of Indian fishermen are locked in jails, both in India and in Pakistan. They are not criminals, they are really the bottom of the economic ladder. They really have nothing except the breeze blows them from one side to another. We had all these people in jail and we interviewed them. And because of the strained relation between India and Pakistan, somehow this interaction was not taking place. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and I really need to acknowledge them, they proactively returned 650 in the first batch. So 250, 250, 250. This was not reciprocated by India, and yet they did it, and we got huge recognition. This was brought up by the Times of India, talking about Pakistan's proactive humanitarian gesture to release these people. It was acknowledged globally in Gandhi when I went, because we at the Commission had been lobbying with the government of Pakistan, did the action. And so I'm going to show you this video of when I met the man and he was crying, and then when they leave. And they are all Muslims from Gujarat. This was on their release.
Rabiya ji, there are no words to express our gratitude to you on behalf of all the fishermen of Gujarat, all the fishermen in India, the fishermen's unions, National Fish Workers Forum, Pakistan India People's Forum for Peace and Democracy, on behalf of all of us, immensely grateful to you for your intervention. Let us hope that India reciprocates this immediately and releases the Indian fish workers in jails. Because now, I mean, we were sitting in the meeting with the Supreme Court lawyers in India when your message came in, and Haya's message came in. Thank you so much for this. This is really brilliant. You did it. You did it for all of us. We all did it together, of course. but at the same time, your efforts for this are remarkable, remarkable efforts. Thank you very much, and salutations to you for India.
Okay, so we guys can't do anything if the government doesn't act. So it was their action that got us this and got us this praise, and we by default got it, but they did move, and I really think the Foreign Office deserves credit for that. This is labor rights. I don't want to keep going into this, so many stories, we don't know how to end, there's so many stories. So we did about 200 surveys and structured surveys with PPI. I think they're here somewhere. They've been great support to us on bonded labor. Bonded labor system is actually changing now. Funnily, they're doing this through environmental impact. A lot of these bad kills are closing down. So that's a very good thing, and we're monitoring this system. We've done 2 reports on them. And I hope by the end of this year, we will see greater impact and closure of these kills. This was our meeting with the district administration, the bonded labor. These were our 2 reports, investigative report on bonded labor, and then we talked about abuse in the bonded labor, because the children and women are very badly abused. Another thing that was of deep concern to us, and I think IOM is here also, was yes, I can see you, was the sinking of the boat Adrian, and this issue of irregular migration, where really these agents dupe these people and they send them across all over the world, and so many people die. And we wanted to talk about the system and see how can we improve it. I know the government has taken strong action with the FIA, but these agents still continue to operate. Zunera is here. Zunera was the author for this. We interviewed the prisoners at Malakasa in Greece through Zoom, and this is the story of one of the prisoners at Malakasa in Greece.
जो हमारा बोर्ड है वो गुंजाइश 3 या 400 की थी, उन्होंने तकरीबन 100 बंदा उसके अंदर बिठा दिया। और जब हमारा बोर्ड डूबा, उल्टा हो गया, जो बंदे बाहर आ सके हैं, जो तहखाने में बैठते हैं उनमें से कोई नहीं आया, सेंटर में बैठे थे उनमें से 5-6 बाहर आ गए हैं, या ज्यादा भी आ गए हैं बाहर, सही है। जो ज्यादा बाहर आ गए, जो सेंटर में बैठे हुए थे, पाकिस्तानी ज्यादा बैठे हुए थे, सही है, बाहर आ गए हैं, समुद्रों में डैब पे हैं, सही है। वो तैयार हैं कि जब बंदूक को ठंडे पीछे से आ रही हैं, बड़ी बड़ी ठंडे वो ले गई हैं समुद्रों के, जो है ना समुद्र पानियों में ले गई हैं, शिप से दूर ले गई हैं। वो तो उनका तो बिल्कुल चांस नहीं था बचने का, जिनको आगे ले गई हैं, या जो शिप के नीचे थे उनका, वो तो मर गए हैं, अल्लाह माफ करे, वो सब जो है ना प्यारे हो गए।
This was our report we did with IOM. We also talked about children in the movement. Also, we've been talking about our prisoners abroad with the Foreign Office, with our counterpart in Malaysia, for Malaysian prisoners, Pakistan prisoners in Malaysia. They're one of the very strong moving commission also. Some of the additional interventions, Jaramala, we were the first to get there. We could smell the burning. There was in one room uneaten plate of biryani. You could see somebody had started to eat their food and they had run. So it was really horrific. And then we followed through with the government's reconstruction of the mosques, and we followed through that the government did reconstruct, they did give compensation to the families. But that this tragedy happened is questionable. Why do these things happen? We wrote an open letter to the Prime Minister. This is our report. Knowledge production, 60 plus reports, they couldn't all come on the wall. Every report is a story, every report is a recommendation to the state, and these are just a few of the recommendations. They feed into greater reform. Awareness and advocacy is really important. What are your rights? What do you stand? What do you know? What do you do? And these are, Seema Jafar from Bond is our communication person, and she's been working incredibly hard in getting these advocacy campaigns. I also would like to thank the media, because we could not have done anything without the media. They have brought up Ms. Jhangi, I think was here, I saw her, I don't know if she left, spreading awareness on tricky things, talking about it, supporting us, giving us that platform, the leverage to tell our story further. Our partners. You can't work without partners. We're literally 161 people, but we're only 20 officials. And we can't work alone. We need the government to implement our action, but we also need partners and friends. I'd like to acknowledge the European Union. Philip is here. UADP Sam Van, who wrote a very good article today, my husband was telling me about. Dita Kamran, like a brother to me, Amar, Pushpak, Alina. A partner, Sarah Bilal, Nidha Ali, who was tricky positions, defended us in court and when we were going against this blasphemy business story. Haya Zahid, Nigadat from DRF, Valerie, Nasrina of HRCP, Maniza Jhangi, Sahil, Sharmeen Ubaid, who gives us the films free of cost, Wasabi, to name a few. And I don't want to end on a bad note because it's such a sad, sorry story, so a good note. We went to the Chief Justice of Pakistan and we asked him, what's your biggest problem? And he said, pendency, slow pendency and heavy outload. So we put a public advertisement, we got young tech people and we said, design an application for the Supreme Court. We were supported by the Al Khan Foundation. They gave us all the knowledge, technical. We had startups, we put them in incubators, we locked them in, and we generated a lot of interesting applications, technology-based, which we hope the Supreme Court will take forward. And in fact, the winning team was an all-girls winning team. The second thing was we went to Balochistan and we found that the Hazara community is the most vulnerable community, particularly the women. And they find their refuge or their strength through sports. So we thought, could we do something to help them? And we did. We got support from the Canadians, and they gave us a 6 months training, all the kits for these young girls. We had to speak to the fathers and the community to get them out, and we did. And Alina, who's also the architect, is over here, and it was her baby, and she was really seriously involved with them. And I'm going to give you an interview of what they were before, and then you see the same girl playing football.
हज़ारा कम्युनिटी पिछले 2 अशरों से टारगेट किलिंग का मंजर देख रही है, तो इसकी वजह से हमसे हमारा बेसिक राइट्स छीना गया है। बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स क्या होती है? बेसिक ह्यूमन राइट्स फ्रीडम ऑफ सर्वाइवल होती है, फ्रीडम टू मूव फ्रीली होती है। हम प्लेस ए से प्लेस बी तक मूव नहीं कर सकते हैं फ्रीली। आप में बचपन से आपका सेल्फ कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं बिल्ड करेंगे, बचपन से हम आप सिर्फ धमाके देखेंगे, आप सिर्फ टारगेट किलिंग देखेंगे, तो आप में ज़हनी सुकून ना की चीज़ रहेगी नहीं। हम महदूद होकर रहेंगे कि यही है, यहाँ करना है, यहाँ जीना है, यहाँ मरना है। हज़ारा वोमेन यूनाइटेड के प्लेयर जब हम फुटबॉल करते हैं ना, हमारे अंदर जो है एक फीलिंग है, पीस है, एक ख्याल है जो हम लोग मतलब बहुत शौक से करते हैं, बहुत दिल से करते हैं।
Let me end by saying nothing moves without a team. All the achievements you've seen belong to the people over here. We have faced extreme challenges. We've had resistance, funnily not from the government, but from the vested agents, the agents who are involved in bonded labor, from the people who do illegal migration. The government has been kind of nice to us, but these people, right-wing extremists who have actually besieged our office at one point, and all of our team has stood brave and strong, facing all this, moving forward. I would like to acknowledge them. Anis Harun, my members, Tariq, Nadine, Manzoor Saab, Karkhanda Aurangzeb, my team secretary Rana Murtaza, Kamran Rajul, who was defected to UNDP, Nur Ilahi, Nakshad, Bakar, Shazil, Seema, who did all the advertisements, all the work, Zunaira Iman, who's made this presentation, Nidha, Umar, Roshin, Mustafa, who did all the hard work. I've been torturing for ever so much, Jasmine, who did bonded labor, Zoya, who also writes beautifully, Alishba, S. and Memuna, Hanifa, Hasib, Noman, Zishan, Rafiq, Shabir, Ahmed, and we have these young interns. We also have now colleges send these young interns to us, so we have this additional strength. Thank you very, very much. Sorry for such a long.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. On behalf of the NCHR team, it has been a great honor of our life to work with you. It is now my honor to introduce our chief guest, who has been sitting through all of our presentations. Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to introduce the Honorable Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, the Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan. He made history by being elected Speaker for the third time across 2 distinct terms. With over 2 decades of public service, he has also served as acting President of Pakistan, Federal Minister for Economic and Political Affairs, and the Federal Minister for Law and Justice. His leadership extends beyond national borders, having presided over major international parliamentary bodies, including the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, the Parliamentary Assembly of ECO countries, and the Association of SARC Speakers. He has championed landmark reforms such as the establishment of the SDG Secretariat, the Parliament's complete shift to solar energy and modernization through digitization. Under his leadership, the National Assembly continues to reinforce Pakistan's democratic foundations, promote constructive dialogue, and elevate the country's parliamentary engagement on the international stage. Please join me in welcoming the Honorable Sardar Ayaz Sadiq, Speaker of the National Assembly of Pakistan.
Rabiya Sarma, one thing for sure, you're a team player. That's the best part of it. Rabiya Sarma, Chairperson NCHR, members of the committee, the commission, Federal Secretary Abdul Tariq Sheikh Sir, Mr. Philip Gross, Deputy Head of Mission of the European Union, Dr. Samuel Riz, President Representative of UNDP, my Excellencies, my honorable colleagues, the Minister has run away for a TV show, I think. I'm sure. My honorable colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu Alaikum. I had this long story which I've written, and I thought I'd be discussing this, but I think I'll have to make it short, snappy, and what we've actually done. I was a part of the selection of the chairperson when it was taking place. But let me assure you, it is not bureaucracy that got Rabiya Sahiba as the chairperson of the commission. It was her competence, and I think we can easily say that it was the best choice we could have made. I would also like to welcome a guest who's flown from Karachi all the way for this function, Aga Jan, who's a friend. You did not acknowledge him, so I have to. He happens to be the better half, or she is the better half for Aga Jan. We should hold ourselves accountable what we do. So let me tell you a few things which we did recently and which we've done in the past also, and what we should be doing. And then we'll I'll just share with you what I feel is happening in the world. Short, I'll not make it long. Your presentation was very impressive. You and the Commission have done a commendable job. And usually, when these kind of commissions take place, they are established, there's always a friction between the ministry and these commissions. The good thing what I heard from you is that they are very supportive, and so is the government. So thanks to the government and to the commission. I have a friend here who's a victim of human rights. He's my colleague. If he comes to my office, he meets me, he's a member of the opposition. So on social media, I think we should file a complaint with you. On social media, he becomes a target of many, and I'm talking of my friend Mr. Sher Afzal Marwa. He happens to be from the opposition, and I'm one of those people who have excellent relationship with the government and opposition. But one thing I can assure you, and I'm sorry I forgot to welcome the European Union delegation also. Welcome to Pakistan. 2018 to 2022, no parliamentarian who was arrested was allowed to come to the parliament, which is a right of a member of parliament. If you are arrested, whatever the reason may be, you are supposed to be brought to parliament where you should talk about the issues that are related to your constituency or any other, and then voting also. 2018 to 2022, it did not take place. Thank God, after 2023, when I took over, 24 March when I took over, my friend was arrested. He was arrested and we got him into the parliament. He spoke. Other members of parliament also from the opposition had a right to speak in parliament of what happened with them. There was no restriction. The neutrality was there. The opportunity was there. They not only spoke, but we did not let them go to the jail. I did not let them as speaker because that was my responsibility. They are our colleagues. We work together on many issues. So they did not go to the jail. They were sent, I declared the sub-jail, the parliament lodges where they stay as sub-jails. And they went there. They also have rights. They were given the rights. All the members who were arrested were given an opportunity to speak, and they spoke on the floor of the House. Then it was Friday, and their bail application was to be heard on Monday. A few of them came to me and said, now if you let us go, we will have to go to jail. That means Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, by Tuesday or Wednesday, for 5-6 days we'll be in jail. So what do? I extended the session of the parliament to accommodate my colleagues. It never happened before in history. So because they also have rights, we in the Parliament of Pakistan have established a legislative council. Now that council, the government has the law ministry and the ministry and the division to work on. But the opposition and the members of parliament, individually who want to bring up issues, do not have. So we established in 2013 a legislative council. You give the idea and they will prepare the bill for you that you need to bring to the parliament. That brought more productive and positive legislation. Then we have our honorable colleagues sitting here. We have established our secretariats. The child caucus is there, the women caucus, Mana Sama, you were one of the pioneers to get it established. We have the women caucus, child caucus. Now we have legislated law recently for underage marriages, protection of rights of. And then we have established a special committee for gender mainstreaming because the women are underutilized and I think they are better workers. But let me assure you, I've worked with all these females, we have another example sitting here, Asya Nasser Sahiba. She is from a religious party, an Islamic religious party. She is from the province of Balochistan. She's a Christian, but one of the best parliamentarians I have had an encounter with. So why should we not give opportunity? I have committed, as long as I'm the Speaker of the Parliament, we are going to employ about 30% of our force should be females. They work better, they can work hard, and maybe even better than men. So why should they not be given an opportunity? Our caucuses are extremely focused on the issues of women, on the issues of children, on the issues of minorities, and our committees are also quite actively pursuing these issues. And I personally encourage them that this is the way forward. We have coordinated with the provincial assemblies, including Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. They have also established these in these provinces so that we can coordinate, meet regularly, and we should try and improve our human rights issues. I personally think that our human rights issues, as we go on, are improving by the day. And this credit goes in Parliament to government and to opposition, who are very keen to establish better human rights. There is an issue of artificial intelligence and social media. We are blackmailed. Fake news is spread about us. We are abused on that fake news on social media, and that also infringes our rights also. So Pakistan is moving ahead, and I hope that soon we will be having a new chairperson. But when we see around us, if Pakistan is improving, does not mean that we've achieved what we have to. Internationally, we have to raise our voices. Look at what's happening in the world. Let's start with our neighbors. Women's right in Afghanistan, they're not allowed to study, they're not allowed to work. Those rights are equally important to Pakistan. We have fed more than 4 million Afghan refugees. We gave them the right to work, education, we fed them, we housed them, we gave them all the facilities that a Pakistani citizen, the right that a Pakistani citizen has. But it pains when amongst those, the people who have lived in Pakistan for so many years become suicide bombers against the people of Pakistan who have hosted them. It's very, very painful. Look at India. Minorities hardly have any rights in India. Look at occupied Indian held Kashmir. How people are treated there. What goes on? It's not hidden from any one of us. And our heads go in shame when we see what is happening in Gaza, how the women, children, men are treated, murdered, crucified, what they have to go through. Our responsibility is not only Pakistan, our responsibility is the entire world. We have to raise our voices at each and every forum that we go to. We raise it at the International Parliamentary Union. We raise it at the Parliamentary Union of Islamic Countries. In SARC conferences, in Commonwealth, we raise these issues because these are collective issues. And we should not restrict ourselves to Pakistan only. Our voices should be heard everywhere. So what the work your team has done, what the Commission has done, what the team that you praised and mentioned here, I think we should be proud of that. And I think continuity is extremely important. If we, and I have already written a letter to the government and the opposition to establish the Commission as soon as possible. So let's hope for the best. And National Assembly of Pakistan, I give a commitment on behalf of my young members of the National Assembly, all the young females sitting here, that anything related, and my younger brother, Mr. Sher, and my former colleagues also, anything related to human rights, we are ready to champion it with you. We are ready to sign an MOU also with you between the Human Rights Commission and the National Assembly of Pakistan, one of our processes also. To strengthen ourselves, because human rights means strengthening each and every person of Pakistan. Here, our flag tells us of the green is for the Muslims and the white is for all other religions. We are equal. When Pakistan was established, the fundamental issue was, and our religion also says, all religions say that each and every man or woman, they are equals, irrespective of what religion they belong to. So let's join hands. I am offering you this opportunity. Join hands with these dynamic members of parliament. Let's work together. Human rights is an issue which we need to take care of. Thank you very much, and thank you for bearing me. I'm not, going to read this anymore. Thank you.
With the members, please come up to the picture. And I didn't acknowledge my husband. Please you also come up and sorry.
Can we please invite the members of NCHR, our esteemed ambassadors, the esteemed EU delegation, our UNDP delegation, heads of UN agencies, our parliamentarians, and honorable ministers to step up for group photo. Thank you. And our secretary, Rana Sashi.
और इसके साथ ही ये तकरीब आज की इख्तिताम पजीर हो रही है। राबिया जवेरी आगा का 4 साल जो टेन्योर है एज एन चेयरपर्सन इंसानी हकूक़ कमीशन वो एंड हो रहा है, लेकिन उम्मीद की जा रही है कि इनको या तो एक्सटेंशन मिलेगी या दोबारा से रीअपॉइंट किया जाएगा। तो अब देखते हैं कि NCHR में कौन लीड करता है। लेकिन राबिया जवेरी आगा का जो ये एक कर्जियस पीरियड था, हम सब ने देखा कि बहुत सारे ऐसे इशूज़ जो कि बहुत कॉन्ट्रोवर्शियल भी थे, उन पर भी उन्होंने अपनी जो फैक्ट फाइंडिंग्स हैं और जो रिपोर्ट्स हैं वो शाया की। माइनस न्यूज़ को मैरियट से आज इजाज़त दीजिए।